everyone, and welcome to this video. Today I want to share with you some great sciatica exercises you can do to get relief. And I also want to share a few exercises you want to be avoiding until you get better. So this video is really important if you're experiencing sciatica, which is that pain that radiates down the leg and it causes a lot of discomfort and it's really disruptive. So as you're searching online, you probably find so many different exercises and stretches, and some of them work, some of them make the pain worse. And I've personally experienced many years of sciatica when I had my disc herniation, and I also had performance syndrome, which was also irritated in my sciatic nerve. So I have a lot of experience with this condition, and there are so many things that I've done, exercises that were just not helpful. So I want to share in this video right now the exercises that were helpful, that helped me get relief, and that also helped me stay in shape, pain-free. The sciatic nerve is the body's largest nerve. It runs from L4 to S3, and it generally gets irritated with discompression and also some movements like bending forward, twisting. These are things that people notice trigger their sciatica or the sciatic pain. I'm going to be starting with some general exercises and then go into specific exercises that you can do at home as well. So the first exercise is just walking every day. So walking is a great low impact form of exercise that's really safe on your lower back, and it will really help to improve circulation, flexibility, and it's very low impact, so it's not going to put a lot of pressure on your lumbar spine to cause any irritation or any compression. So you can do a walking workout at home, just counting the steps and doing 15 to 20 minutes of that. You can do some side-to-side walk, forward and back walks, or you can go outside and walk. So it really depends on your comfort and your pain level. So if you are able to go outside and walk, try to do just a loop so that you're back to your normal starting point within 15 minutes, and you're not walking for a long period of time that could trigger some pain. So it's really important to find that, to find your comfort zone. The second form of exercise is swimming. So swimming is a great low impact full body form of workout. And the great thing about it is that when you're in the water, it really helps to take the load off of your lower back and hips. And another thing is that it also has some benefits in elongating and lengthening your back and spine. So when you're swimming, you give your body a break from that constant tension, and it also helps to improve body alignment. So that's another form of exercise that you can do if you're able to. Third form of exercise is resistance band standing exercises. So grab your resistance band, put it around your thighs, and try to do a few side-to-side walks with the resistance band. Make sure that you're doing these exercises standing if you have trouble getting on the floor, but banded exercises will help to activate the glute muscles, which really provide support, stability for the pelvic lumbar area. Another exercise that is safe for sciatica and is actually beneficial is the bridges. So when you're performing bridges, you're activating your inner core muscles as well as the glutes. So both of those things will provide some support and stability for the lumbar spine. Just try to keep your spine really neutral, avoid overarching on the lower back or rounding your back. You want to keep that back straight. That's such an amazing exercise to provide relief and also to take the load off of the lumbar spine. Next is standing core exercises. So if you're not able to get on the floor, there are so many ways that you can activate those inner core muscles and tap into the transverse abdominis, which forms a belt around your spine. And when you're experiencing sciatica, it's really important to keep those muscles strong because they stabilize again the lumbar spine and they take the load off of the lower back, which can reduce compression at the sciatic nerve root. So really important to do those exercises that help take the load off of the lower back to reduce that compression. There are so many different standing core exercises you can do. I have made several videos that I will link below here check them out. And these are exercises you can do on a daily basis. And again, you don't need to be on the floor to do these exercises. If you need help with deep core exercises, I have a free PDF that includes the best exercises to activate and strengthen the transverse abdominis. Make sure to grab it. The link is below the video. Okay, now I'm going to switch into the exercise that you should be avoiding for now to avoid aggravating the pain and lengthening your healing or recovery. So we want to get better as fast as possible. So it's important to avoid certain exercises that can put pressure on your lower back just for the time being until you feel better, and then you can slowly introduce them. The first form of exercise or type of exercise is anything involving jumping, running, high intensity interval training. When you're jumping and running and you land, that can transmit a strong force through the spine, which causes compression at the disc level and also can irritate the sciatic nerve. In addition to that, any rapid movements that you're trying to do can quickly cause some muscular imbalances. You may be doing the exercise quickly with not good form. So those things can all cause the pain to get worse, especially with muscular imbalances, because now in addition to the sciatic pain, then you have muscular tightness as well. The next thing is heavy squats or heavy deadlifts, specifically heavy squats where you're holding the weights up. So if you're holding the weights here or having back squats, that can really put pressure on your spine and cause that compression again and irritates the sciatic nerve. If you want to do squats, I highly recommend that you keep the weights down below your hips. So that will be much better, but definitely make sure that your back is straight, that your core is engaged, and just try to do a few repetitions. Don't overdo it. Keep the weight not too heavy if you're experiencing pain. The next thing is any exercise, any heavy exercise with that forward bending again. It's really easy to transfer that force into the spine, the lumbar spine, especially if you're not keeping your core engaged or your glutes. And sometimes it's really hard to keep that engagement on, especially if you're already in pain. So at the end of your set, you may start to feel a little bit of tension in your lower back and you may experience some sciatica afterwards. So keep those forward bending movements to a minimum, and if you have to do them, make sure that you're bending at the hips, keeping your back straight, and really maintaining that core brace to minimize any compression or load on the lumbar spine. The next exercise to avoid is anything overhead, so overhead presses, especially when you're standing up. So the thing with these exercises that, again, when you put in that weight overhead, it can cause compression at the spine and it can irritate the sciatic nerve. In addition to that, it can also cause some muscular imbalances if you're not doing the exercise with proper form. If you're rotating your hips forward, you can be doing the exercise while having that anterior tilt. If you want to do some shoulder presses, I would try to do them seated on a bench or a chair at home, or even go on your knees. And also just sitting down to support your lower back, support your lumbar spine will definitely help. So try that. And also another thing is, instead of pressing heavier weights, so you're pressing 2 dumbbells of 40 pound total, maybe do one arm at a time so that you're only pressing 20 pounds on each side. So you can just reduce your rest period between each side. That way you're not doing the exercise for longer times, but that will minimize the load placed on your lower back and it will give you some rest time in between to reset. Crunches is the next exercise. Crunches should be avoided if you have any sciatica, because when you're crunching, you're putting your spine into that flexion, which is something we want to avoid. And we want to avoid as much as possible, maybe not completely, but when you're crunching and you're flexing your lumbar spine, again, you are not only putting pressure on your lumbar spine, causing some compression, so that compression can affect the sciatic nerve root. So I would just stick to the deeper core exercises that I share on my channel. I don't do any crunches. You can do so many different types of variation to tighten up your core and your abdominals without having to put your spine into that lumbar flexion. In addition to that, when you're doing those crunches, the hip flexors are really engaged in there. So as you're doing crunches and you're working and engaging your hip flexors, you may end up with tight hips. So when you overwork your hip flexors, they pull again your spine in and into that movement, and that can cause some more pain later on. So you end up with tight hips, compression at the disc, and that could really trigger some really bad flare-ups. So I would be careful with using crunches when you have sciatica. Another exercise that you should be avoiding is any twisting with weights. So if you're doing twisting with a cable machine, if you're seated and you're doing crunches with twists with weights, I would avoid that completely, because I personally experienced the worst pain flare-ups with those specific exercises. When you're twisting, especially with weights, that can cause some micro tears in the spine. It really compresses the spine and it can cause inflammation at the sciatic nerve. So definitely avoid anything with twisting. If you have to twist, I would twist using your feet as pivot points. Make sure you avoid twisting from the hips. And if you want to do some twisting exercises for your abdominals, just do them without any weights. You don't have to hold any dumbbell in. Just do them body weight and see how you're feeling. If you experience performance syndrome, which is that pain in the butt, along with sciatica, I highly recommend that you try some of the exercises in the free performance syndrome rehab plan. I have the link below. This is an amazing plan that I'm giving away for free, and it's a complete plan with video tutorial that you can do at home, and it includes some of the best exercises that are specific to performance pain.